1 second. What's up, fellas? We got ourselves an F-250. Got ourselves a diesel truck, by golly. That's right, YouTube. This is the new project for the channel. Now, we're keeping the Sequoia. That is not going anywhere, but wanted to get a truck, something with a smaller cabin, and just something totally different that we can do some different and cool stuff to, guys. Stay tuned. This is a 2003 Ford F-250 Super Duty. Of course, this is a diesel truck, so super excited to have something different on the channel. Excited to kind of get into the diesel game a little bit, see what that is all about. Now, this thing is pretty cool. First off, has a 6-speed manual transmission, guys. So excited about that. Second of all, only has 150,000 miles on it, so super low miles for one of these. Third of all, this thing actually has a really big lift on it. I don't know if you can tell, but the hood comes up to my head on this thing. It's at least an 8-inch, maybe a 10-inch lift. Not exactly sure, guys. This thing is tall. Should be fun to work on. Now, that being said, guys, this thing is really cool, but there is a ton of work we got to do to this guy. This thing needs a massive just overall upgrade. Stuff like these wheels. So much of the stuff on this has just not been touched in a long time. It really needs to be brought into 2022. And don't worry, guys, you know, we're going to be doing it to it. I've already got some nice wheels to throw on this thing. They are deep dish 24-inch wheels. They should be really cool. We're going to do a bunch of stuff in the interior here. Of course, full audio stuff, as you would imagine, but other stuff as well, just to kind of make it a little bit more modern looking. Make this sort of a nice, almost show truck, guys. So it should overall be a really fun project, guys. Excited to bring y'all along on this journey. Let's give y'all a quick look up over at what we got going on here, guys. A massive truck. I've never had anything this big. I thought the Sequoia was pretty big. This guy is absolutely massive. Of course, we've got that big old lift in here, and we got to do a bunch of work. This thing definitely needs some cleaning up. Gonna paint these things so it's not bright yellow, but this is a really tall lift, guys. Again, the video won't do it justice, but this thing is quite up there. You can see all the blocks we got back here to lift it. We'll measure that here in a while, but it's probably 8 inches or so. We do have a big old stack back here. Don't know if I'll keep that or not long term, but it is kind of cool. We, of course, have the gray. Really love this color. Really the color I wanted to go with. Now, there's a bunch that needs to be done up front. We're redoing the entire front end, guys. Going to be updating it. Already have that stuff in the works. Getting rid of this old yellowed light bar. Taking away the side steps. Y'all, this is as bass gets, which I love. Will be perfect for doing car audio stuff. This is nice and flat, so it'll be super easy to make some panels for this for speakers. And then everything in here is super simple, guys. There's no wires, no crazy stuff going through. So it'll be really easy to run all the wires that I need. And we have plenty of room back here. Of course, as I mentioned, this is a manual transmission, guys, which I am super excited about. Very cool. Having a 6-speed transmission in this guy has been a ton of fun to drive around. But this interior is old. Does need some cleaning up, especially the roof, guys. We're going to be pulling this out, painting it black, and then maybe doing a starlight roof in this thing. That would be something different. We, of course, got our boost and our EGT over here. Neither of these work. Back here, guys, I actually got a decent amount of room. We're going to be pulling these seats out. Going to be building a platform here for amps and batteries. Going to have at least 2 15s back here in the back, guys. They're actually already wires ran back here, so there was a sub at some point. Look at this, guys. Got your old basic ground in here. Didn't even sand that down. Good job, guys. In here, we've got Rockville. Looks like 6x9 speakers. We have one solidary tweeter just placed here in this car. They just ran the wire through the door, guys. Look at that. It's all cut and shorted out there. What in the heck? What I'm really excited about though, guys, this car is really pretty clean for being so old. There's no rust underneath here. I live up in the mountains where we get a lot of snow and salt, so a lot of cars just get absolutely trashed, but this guy looks to be in pretty good shape. Down under here, guys, look at this mess of just random wires. Cannot wait to get this all cleaned up. This is just terrible. This thing also is 4-wheel drive, which is pretty cool. It goes in nice and smooth. Alright guys, I just got home and it turns out the wheel spacers and the new headlights showed up. So we're going to go ahead, open these up, check them out. Then we're going to head up to my buddy Zach's house. He has a big lift. Going to throw the spacers and the new wheels on, guys. Cannot wait to see how the truck looks. From going from cars and stuff, with the spacers being tiny, to look at these guys. We got 2-inch rough country spacers. These things are absolutely massive. Should be at least half decent spacers though, guys. Hey, they look pretty cool. Cannot wait to throw these on the car. Look at these. These things look incredible. Very clean looking. Will be a huge upgrade over the stocks that we got going on. Okay, I had the truck at the shop for a few days, had to do some things to it. Gonna go over that real quick. As I mentioned, there were a few things wrong with it when I got it, so I went ahead and got that all worked out. So let's see what we had to do here, guys. First of all, I had to get a new steering box for the car. I got a red top steering box. That was about $500. Then I had to get a drag end link, the sleeve adjustment, a new AC hose line, and then the refrigerant. So considering when I bought it, part of my pitch to him was that, hey, it did have some issues that I'd have to get fixed. And they actually came down $1,500 in price because of some of those issues. And I got them all fixed for about $1,300, so that really worked out. Okay, next up, we got new headlights for this guy. And let's head up to the shop and see what we got. Oh, yeah. Okay, in rear-wheel drive, this thing does not like going up this gravel driveway. It's actually pretty steep. Doesn't look like it on video, but hey, not worth getting out and locking the hubs. But anyway, let's see how far we can get this guy in here. Look at that, guys. It actually might just barely squeeze in here. Have to pick up this so it doesn't scratch, but that is crazy. As you can see, guys, these old headlights are not great at all. They get water in them. They're real loose. They don't really fit all that good. Just not good headlights at all. So we got some nice one-piece headlights to stick in here. They should be awesome. Let's check them out. Okay, we've got some Spider headlights. I got these off Amazon for about $300. Obviously, much nicer. Especially will have the nice LED. And these lights, I've heard, are much brighter than the factory. This will plug right in where the old main headlight used to plug in. And we have our high beams and low beams ran through that. And then over here, I believe this is the turn signal, I'm gonna guess. And then these are the wires for the LEDs. I've got some little connectors for that. but we gotta figure out the best way to wire that in. Okay, plugged it in just to test it. The lights work, guys. Let's hook up the LEDs. Before hooking up the LED, guys, we have a mess of wires from the previous owner. We got all kinds of things randomly tapped in here. We got this wire just barely stuck in there. We've got a mess of stuff over here. We've even got like old lamp cord. I know some of the wires run to this light bar. I don't really like it, guys. Maybe at some point I'll install a cleaner light bar somewhere, but I think we got to pull this thing out too. This is held in with an Allen wrench, and the only way to get to it is to put it in like this, but there's not enough leverage to turn it. So a little trick here, you just have a closed-in wrench like this, and you can put it on there. You got to make sure you hold it real straight, but that'll give you some good leverage. Under here we can see all those wires that were coming through. Guys, they're just wrapped around everything. I'm gonna be ripping all this out, guys, and then we'll run new stuff correctly as we need it. Look at this. This is the ground for my gauges. They grounded it to the painted section of this instead of putting it under where it's not painted. Now it still kind of works, but guys, don't do this. All the junk wire is pulled out. Look at this. They just had all kinds of connectors and random colors and just all kinds of stuff. Okay, on the more modern Fords, the way they'll have the LEDs run is that they will be running lights. That's how we're gonna wire this up here, guys. We're gonna add some pigtail connectors and then we're gonna wire it in. Okay, guys, so we have some red and black wire. You don't need anything really crazy thick for LEDs. They don't take that much. You can see over here, we've got real thin wire, no thicker than 18 gauge, maybe even 20 gauge. Went and got some plugs from Amazon. Now, if you go to Advance, these things are like $7 for just one of these. You can get a whole pack off Amazon for like 15 bucks, so I will leave a link in the description below. You can also get the ones that you pin yourself, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna use these. So basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the female end over here on these guys. That'll match. So we have the female ends on the other ones. That way, if you ever gotta pull these out, we can do that easily without having to cut wires. You could just solder this straight to your wire to the car if you wanted to. But again, if you gotta pull them out, it would be nice to have actual connectors. So we'll have that, and then we'll have this connector tapped into this wire here. We'll have one wire, of course, ran to each light, and then one that'll be ran to a wire on the car that is an ignition switch wire. I'll find something in there that'll be easy to tap into. Now, for doing this kind of thing, you could solder and then electrical tape, or hotter and then heat shrink would be better. What I like to do, I get these little kind of 3-in-1 connectors. I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen these, but what these are, they have solder there in the middle, they have heat shrink over the top, and they have these little kind of waterproof grommets in there. So it makes it real easy for doing this, fellas. Best way to do this is to just slide your piece over, normally on the smaller end if there is a smaller end. Just gonna twist this around here. Again, we'll be soldering it so it doesn't have to be the most beautiful twist. Stick it on there. We'll do the same thing on this side. Slide it over so the solder is right over the bare wire. Then we're gonna take the heat gun and we're just gonna heat it up and make sure to keep moving so you don't get any really hot spots and melt the plastic on the wire. This is by far my favorite method for attaching smaller wires like this. It creates a really strong waterproof connection, and it's much faster than soldering and then heat shrinking each individual one, especially if you're wiring up head units or something where there's a bunch of wires. This is definitely the quickest, in my opinion, one of the best ways to do it. Went ahead and taped all this excess up just so there wouldn't be a ton flopping around in there making a mess. Okay, gonna test and make sure this works. Just gonna hold the connectors to the battery, positive and negative. Let's see if this thing works. Y'all, look at that! That's gonna look so good. Oh, I'm so excited. Don't think video will do it justice, guys. But look at that, got the LED there. Also got the little LED on the side. That is cool. All right, in order to get these to fit, I just shave a little bit of this panel out here and a little bit right here. I thought I was going to have to cut this one out too, but it looks like it'll fit leaving that there. So let's vacuum this up a little bit and then let's put the headlight back in. Y'all, this looks so good as a running light. Look at that, y'all. Also, the regular and the high beams are super bright. Cannot wait to drive this at night. Obviously, there's a ton more we need to do to clean up the rest of this, just to make it look a little cleaner and more updated, but y'all, this is a great start. Let's do the other side now that we know what to do, and we'll have this part of the project wrapped up. What is it like driving my first diesel, especially a diesel, with a 1 manual transmission, 2 lifted, 3 super wide wheels? Let's show you what it's like. Got the manual windows, of course. Okay, you gotta start it. Gotta let the glow plugs warm up. Oh yeah, every time. Of course, safety first. Now it's weird because reverse is all the way to the left and up, which is much different than any either Subaru, Mustang, or any other car I've ever driven. Having these big wheels is a pain to turn, that's for sure. Okay. It's an absolute pain to turn. But at least they don't rub. The old wheel I had on it rubbed really bad. Oh, and that was not fun. Fortunately, this car has a really easy clutch. So you have your granny gear, which is super useless. Then you have second gear, and you can start in second gear. For the last while, I've really wanted a diesel truck to Took me a long time to find this one, but overall been very, very happy with it, guys. When I saw it had a manual transmission, I just knew I had to get it. And the lift has really grown on me a lot. Of course, not great in the turns. I'm used to just zipping around turns, especially in my Subaru. Not so much the Sequoia, but even that is better than this. This thing is so incredibly wide. You really have to be careful. You'll curve these wheels super easy if you're not watching. Also, I'm not used to one being this high up or two being anywhere near to this wide, so it'll just take time to get used to it. I'm definitely getting better, but at first, guys, it was terrible. Now, one thing I will mention, this thing is super slow. I'm used to turbo cars at least being pretty quick. This thing, you can map the gas, and it just, I mean, you can tell there's a ton of torque, but it just doesn't like go anywhere. It doesn't get moving. It's so weird.